There is one word that sets off a war when it comes to a game. A word that every game gets labeled after some time has passed. Dead. Well, dead or dying. Take your pick. To say a game is dead is basically like having to choose between a PS3 or an Xbox 360. The conversation will just end up going into the same details over and over again with no real development, and you just end up accomplishing nothing. However, I instead decided to tackle this debate with some honest facts that could hopefully get you to see things with a different point of view. Maybe this video could help you determine the fate of other games you see in the future. But before that, make sure to hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on the bell so you always get notified anytime I upload or stream. Let's start with the big question. Is Shinobi Striker dead or dying? Yes. The game is not truly dead yet, but it's basically in a nursing home waiting for the inevitable to happen. All games will reach this point, but Shinobi Striker has lasted a lot longer than you would think. Coming out in early 2018, this game is older than Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and its content released for almost 2 years longer than the latter has, with more content continuing to release to this day. Now I know what you're thinking. Push, you said this game was dying, but it still has more content coming out. You contradicted yourself. To that, I ask that you go to bed. It's more than likely way past your bedtime and it's a school night. Spend some time learning the basics you'll never use in life before you try to think of the level I do. Yes, the Kaguya DLC has yet to be released. Yes, we still have Season 7 to go as well. Yes, we have the other bonus jutsu that are coming to the game that are not tied to DLC characters. But is this all you really feel is needed in order to keep a game alive? It's no different than a kid in a candy store. You get that chocolate bar, you eat it, you enjoy it, and then it runs out and you want more. So what do? You go get more. Enjoy that second Hershey's or Twix or whatever you decide to get until once again you are left with nothing more than an empty wrapper and a craving that never goes away, putting you in an endless loop of satisfaction and disappointment. In terms of video games, updates are the determining factor in order to see how long a game will stay alive for. Not just that the game is receiving updates, but what is included with the updates themselves is extremely important. There are several forms of updates that each game receives in its life. Bug fix or performance updates, rebalancing or retraining updates, minor edition updates, and major edition updates. The first two are fairly self-explanatory with either fixing the game or balancing some of the content. But it's the other two that are a bigger determining factor that can give more details on if the game will last long or at long last commit the big die. However, a lot of people do not understand the difference between the two and will just celebrate them as if they are the greatest thing that could ever happen for the game. This greatest thing is primarily paid DLC, but this can vary at times. Allow me to explain by showing you the difference between the two. Minor additions are small features introduced into the game that add very little to the core experience and in general can be avoided if you choose to do so. You can usually experience the entirety of these features anywhere in the realm of a few minutes and are the cheaper options for your DLC with extremely little to no chance of being a free addition, with a large possibility of being bundled together into a season pass of some sort. Major additions are larger features that take the core experience and expand upon them even further, typically adding new levels, events, or other features that allow for more unique gameplay experiences without straying too far from what the core game allows you to do. The amount of time to experience these additions fully depends on what was added into the game. If we're talking about a different game mode, you could probably play it and fully understand what it offers in only a few minutes. However, if we take a story-based game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and look at the various DLC that add entirely new maps with their own stories and missions, you can easily sink hours into all the DLC has to offer. Usually, these are your more expensive DLC options, but in some cases, they can be completely free updates in the game for everyone to enjoy on day one of release. Shinobi Striker has had both major additions and minor additions added into the game over its 5-year lifespan. However, one easily outweighs the other in terms of the sheer bulk amount it has. 35 DLC characters, new maps, solo jutsu additions, and plenty more sounds like it would easily keep this game feeling fresh, alive, and strong. Except, all of this DLC and other stuff is the major problem for this game. Because with all of this, we could easily forget that the last time the game had any major addition was back in December of 2018, Update 1.12. The birth of the pits. Survival Exercise took the 4v4 combat the game was known for and turned it into a 6-man free-for-all battle royale where there is only one true winner in combat. Did this game mode completely change Shinobi Striker? No. The game's still focused on creating the best build possible in order to fight your opponents, but the fact that you fought alone and had 5 other combatants to worry about in a more open environment as opposed to a more dense map you usually fight in, it's a new outlet, a new way to play the game. No longer did you have to worry about teaming up with random players that could hold you back in Ninja World League. Now, victory, or failure, was solely based on you. A game that originally marketed and focused on team-based combat added a game mode that completely removed that main focus altogether. This is what we call a breath of fresh air. Sadly, in terms of major updates, that's really all we got. Fans to this day have basically begged for plenty of additions that could be implemented to change this game, yet never see the light of day. Skill-based matchmaking? We have ranks, but they are purely cosmetic and show how long you played the game on that specific profile. Nothing else. They don't affect who you go against at all. One-on-one matches? We have the pits, but the closest we could get to this is going into the practice mode against 4 other bots. Maybe if you get 2 other players, they could keep the bots at bay, but this just isn't what we want. Private matchmaking? We can somewhat do this with the practice pits, but we can't do this with a full 6-man pit or the team-based matches. Proper anti-cheat! Fuck you. For now, players will continue to eat their fill of DLC characters. We have 4 more to go that are guaranteed at least. However, once we reach the end of Season 7, what happens next? Is there a Season 8? I don't know. Nobody does. All I know is that you kids are gonna look at that empty wrapper after you leave the candy shop, get excited when you get a new chocolate bar, eat it up, and are left with that same wrapper and that same feeling. Thoughts of disappointment and a lighter feeling in your wallet. If you reached this point, I want to thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on that bell so you know whenever I stream or upload. With that being said, I will see you in the next video, the next stream, whatever it may be. Peace out!